He wants food, is what he wants. See the contrast. Nice. Alright, I need to get rid of this cat. He's been...
Can you imagine a day without your smartphone? Well, I definitely can't. And since these small cutting-edge devices mainly exist to entertain us, arcade and sim racing have become a serious thing as well. This is why today we are diving into mobile racing, and to do so, we will talk about games such as Asphalt 9, F1 Mobile Racing, and the brand new Assetto Corsa Mobile. But before we get racing, you guys should certainly hit the like and subscribe button below to make sure you don't miss any of our Overtake content. Of course, I won't be on my own today either, since we also want to talk about the esports and competitive qualities of these mobile games. The one and only Leigh Deman Smith will be joining me in just a bit. In the meantime, let's have a short look at some of the most considerable games of this genre.
Arcade racing has been a vital part of mobile gaming since the very start. With prime examples such as Asphalt 9 or F1 Mobile Racing, fans of the genre have a huge variety of games to choose from. F1 Mobile Racing and Asphalt 9 are undoubtedly two of the most renowned mobile racing games currently on the market. Both offer great graphics and even better car control. But that's not all. F1 is also pioneering into mobile racing esports. As the first to host monthly qualifications and an esports series, F1's mobile version has become a figurehead amongst racing games. With Digital Tales' newest iteration of Assetto Corsa, AC Mobile, they're trying to take sim racing to the next level. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of room for improvement. The game's graphics are on a level with mobile games released years ago, and although 63 currently playable challenges sound like a lot of work, some of them can be a little repetitive. Besides the fact that Digital Tales hasn't revealed a roadmap for the game yet, community feedback is far from good. Many fans of the series criticize the absence of a version for Android or an online multiplayer mode. Compared to existing Assetto Corsa racing games, AC Mobile isn't even close to being a serious alternative. Whether this will change in the future or not still remains to be seen.
Well, you can already guess that not all of mobile racing is the same, and since opinions differ quite a lot here, I'm pleased to welcome someone who's been in the esports racing scene for a really long time by now. What's up, Leigh? It's great to have you back on the show. For those of you that don't know you, of course, you've been in racing and esports for years, and I think you've even been in esports for longer than maybe I've been around.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, certainly from a mobile racing point of view, I'm trying to think, it would have been the World Cyber Games, so it would have been WCG probably like maybe 06, 08, something like that. Would have been very early Asphalt, so probably like version 3 or 4, something like that. Obviously, it's on version 9 Legends nowadays.
Yeah, so of course, with that already out of the way, with your kind of first touches into mobile racing games at least, what are your thoughts on the current state of the mobile racing games that are out there?
It really depends on what you want to compare it with. I think it would be fair to say, because obviously if you were comparing it to, say, your average sim rig racer these days, then clearly obviously it's a long way behind.
Yeah.
Because you're not starting a sim rig. I myself have one, and it is a fantastic experience. Well, you're not going to get that on the mobile, but that's not really the audience that the mobile side is aimed at, is it? It's your guys, and I can take it from, say, obviously the Asphalt perspective, because I'm pretty heavily involved with that. Then literally one of our top 3 racers for Android is a waiter. He works as a waiter, and in his breaks, he sits and plays Asphalt 9 and practices, and he's really good at it. But you know what? He's got a day job, and he can sit there in his workplace or wherever he takes his break and sit on his phone and play the game. And that's like the beauty of, I would say, the mobile racing side. You're aiming at that side of people, and obviously the Southeast Asia, etc., where mobile gaming is monstrous. So from that side, I would say the mobile racing is good, like especially the likes of Asphalt 9. Obviously, the new F1 game seems pretty good. And yes, Assetto Corsa has its problems at the moment.
Yeah, so of course we're going to have another chat about that. But before we actually get into it, we've also asked our community on what they actually think of mobile racing games, and lots of comments just say that it's just not made for the real competition. But of course, I mean, we're asking a biased audience here at Overtake.
I mean, I get what they're saying, and like I say, it really depends on who you're asking, doesn't it? Because if you're asking a dedicated console player, they're going to say, you know, well, you haven't got a console controller. If you're asking a PC sim racer, they're going to say, well, you don't have the steering wheel, you don't have the force feedback, etc. But if you're asking, you know, a kid at school, he's going to be saying, it's great, I can play on my mobile racing and I can compete. And that's really, I would say, always the age you're looking at. If you look across not just racing, mobile gaming in general across the board is generally a much younger age. Obviously, you know, a lot of rules for competition generally is 16 and over, but there are a lot of younger players that will be looking to these games. You know, we're not built for playing with thumbs, Tyler. That's not how we grew up. We're built for a keyboard and mouse or a steering wheel, but these kids obviously growing up, that's what they live on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be a catalyst at some stage as well to say, well, I'm playing Assetto Corsa on my phone, or I'm playing Asphalt on my phone. I might just jump into a real rig at some stage, or get a steering wheel for Christmas to play with a console or even a PC. So I think it definitely is a great way to maybe even get into motorsports. But of course, some titles do have a scene. You've talked about the fact that you've been involved in Asphalt for years now, of course, and at the same time F1 is getting into it with their mobile racing series as well. Do you think that there is actually a proper esports in it?
I think so. I mean, the thing is, there is always an elitism based with like, is it esports ready? It's always post that full elitism bit out there, right? Look, the fact is, look, where did we start with esports? We were a couple of gamers got together, enjoyed a multiplayer game, and made it a competition. That's where esports began, and that's exactly what mobile's got, right? It's got a lot of players out there, it's got multiplayer modes, and you know what? It can have competition, and it doesn't need to be you know, on your levels of stadium audiences that, you know, you might get in a Counter-Strike or a League of Legends or something like that. It doesn't need to be at that level. They have their own audiences. You know, these guys, a lot of the players, certainly with like Asphalt 9, follow Asphalt 9. They probably don't follow any other sort of esports out there. And if you ask them, they'll probably be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But, you know, with F1 coming into it, that's a great move. Obviously, F1's looking to get a younger audience. And that's certainly a big brand to bring into it that will catch a lot of eyes, certainly in the mobile world.
Yeah, and as we've just seen in our video as well, of course, Assetto Corsa did get a little bit of flack with it. I haven't personally been able to try it yet, but at least from the statements or the videos that I've seen of it, it does look behind. I don't have an iPhone. I'd love to try it on Android, but that doesn't really seem to be happening. What do you expect from Assetto Corsa? As of course, they're known as a sim.
Yeah, Assetto Corsa, I mean, that's a tricky one. I mean, look, that is Assetto Corsa behind me. That is from in-game. That's how good it is. Like, and that's the problem, right? You're coming from what is Unreal Engine 4, which is an absolutely fantastic engine. It looks magnificent. It plays magnificent. It even caught, I think, Assetto Corsa off guard because they were sort of making it as this tech game, and it suddenly blew up as this mega awesome sim racing game. And they've got a lot of expectation to try and live up to. And yes, in fairness, the version they brought to mobile is pretty subpar. So whether they've developed it in-house or whether they've had a third-party developer and maybe done it as a bit of a cash grab, I hate to say it, but it does seem that way, doesn't it? And there is so much lacking. And I think it was always going to be hard because Assetto Corsa has this such a high bar that it set itself from such a magnificent release of the last two games they brought out on PC and console. So I think it was always going to be a problem. But yeah, it's definitely a subpar version to what I think everyone was expecting when the announcement came out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we also do have to talk about controls in mobile racing games. A lot of them is just holding your phone, turning it left and right, how you would play, well, Mario Kart on your first Wii or something like that. and not, of course, like your rigs that normal sim racers have. Some of them have controller support. Some of them do have a couple of adjustable settings, but it's nowhere as near, of course, as regular sim racing. What do you think needs to change? Do we need rigs? Do we need wheels now from mobile racing as well?
I mean, where do you put it? You just pull out your phone. Hold on, I got my wheel in my bag. I'll just connect it all up. I mean, that's obviously what, if you think, talking about Wii's and that lot, the consoles, they started to get add-ons, didn't they? You started to get a wheel literally attached to the Wii. But I don't think so. I mean, there's only so much. It's basically gyroscopic steering, effectively, as you're tilting the phone. That's which pretty much they've had for years now. I don't really see where else they can go with it. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a mobile phone. It is for multiple purposes in a phone, not just a gaming device. It's however, that said, it's probably a more powerful gaming device than a Nintendo Wii, etc., that we're talking about back in the day. The phones are pretty powerful, but I mean, there's only so much you can do with it, right? It's down to how clever, I guess, they get with it. You know, there's some pretty clever mechanics in the games already. Like I said, Asphalt 9 has some pretty damn good mechanics with the nitro boosting, etc. And you've got to time it and perfectly run it, etc. So there's a lot of mechanics within the game that work around the controls, I'd say.
Yeah, and of course, you've already talked about the fact that smartphones these days basically do outrank other older consoles from back in the day, and we've seen that in some of the games. Some of the games do look absolutely incredible, and one of the titles that's currently in development is being done by NetEase and Codemasters, and we're going to take a look at that at Racing Masters to see what mobile racing games could be in the future.
What is mastery? Is it the bond between man and machine? Is it the intuition when selecting the perfect balance of components? Are these the definition of mastery? No, it is simply you. But mastery can only be measured against real opponents from all over the world. Customization. Achieve mastery over the infinite ways to customize your car. Control. True mastery is only ever achieved when the highest caliber of challenge is met with unwavering focus. Competition. Expand your mastery on the world stage as you dominate an international roster of rivals. As you become the racing master.
Well, the trailer looks amazing. Unreal Engine on smartphones now. I mean, wouldn't have believed that a couple of years back, but it does look insane. And I mean, this is comparable to some PC games just years ago.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you look at that and you're thinking, obviously, this was, I think it's safe to say this is what Assetto Corsa fans expected. Yeah. Because the Unreal Engine 4, it's on mobile, which is insane to think of, really. And if you look at that trailer, you could be mistaken for thinking it was the next Forza or it's the next Gran Turismo sort of coming out, because it looks incredible. The question is, does it play the same? Obviously, we've always been fooled by trailers before in the past. Is that in-game footage? If so, it looks incredible. As you say, I think you could be looking at, obviously, a PlayStation 5 or Xbox new game rather than on your mobile phone.
Yeah, and I was actually getting some of those Forza vibes almost, to be honest, from that trailer already. It's going to be interesting to see also what phones you can actually be on, what the different graphics settings are going to be. What phone do I need? Do I need the highest end gaming phone to play it? We'll have to have a look. But of course, with that, we're already kind of at the end of our questions for you. Of course, thank you, Leigh, for joining us here and to once again just talk about your expertise. And you've obviously been in the space for a long, long time. What's the next thing that's actually coming up for you as well?
Well, funny you should say that, because I'm doing the Asphalt 9 finals on Saturday, actually.
There you go.
So as if by magic. No, I've been covering it for a good couple of years now, so I'm really excited to see how it works. Obviously, that covers both iOS and Android. It's very interesting because there's kind of like this internal competition. Who's the fastest? Is it iOS? Is it Android? Well, we're going to find out. That will be playing out on Saturday, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'll definitely check out your socials then to see where I can catch it. And so thanks for joining us, and see you next time.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Well, that's it already for this week's of Nitro Nights. I really hope you enjoyed the show. What are your thoughts on mobile racing games? Just let us know in the comments below or on our social channels. Don't forget to visit our website, overtake.gg, as well to discover all about your favorite racing game or to keep up to date with the latest esports racing events. See you next time, stay healthy, and of course, buckle up. Haven't had enough Overtake content yet? Check out our fantastic WRC 10 review. Whether you're a rally fan or not, it might be worth giving this game a try. Or just have a look at the most anticipated racing games to come out in the near future. Because who wouldn't like a brand new racing game, right? Enjoy watching.